we start off by telling people who you are and the work that you do.
I think who am I is an interesting question, but I'm Andrea Weaver. I am a full spectrum doula, and I and also am also an advocate. I'm from Oakland, California, and what do I do? I support birthing families through pregnancy, labor and delivery, postpartum. I've supported folks in fertility, and just really all around supporting folks through that birth journey. And then I also mentor aspiring Black and brown doulas to do the same work.
Now, you mentioned the word like doula a couple times in your introduction.
Yeah.
What is what is a doula by definition, or what does it mean to be a doula in your words?
Yeah, so being a doula, I think it varies because there's different types of doulas. I think for me specifically, or when I'm thinking of doula in the space that I'm working in, it really is about um, it's it's really about empowering folks with information, supporting them emotionally and physically, and then helping them navigate through some type of life experience. So in my case, it's more of the pregnancy, labor and delivery, postpartum. There's also death doulas, there's adoption doulas, there's grief doulas, or death doulas is what they're affectionately called. So it really depends on, who you're talking to. I personally don't identify with the term doula. I think it's a very new term. I come from, on both sides of my family, folks that just did this work just for family or people in our communities. Like the idea that after I had my son and then becoming older, recognizing that the support that I received and was used to and thought was normal was completely not normal. Most people in this space are, especially Black and brown birthing people, are like any of our systems, completely overlooked, ignored, and we are dying at exceptional rates. So to me, it's more of an advocate in this space, someone to help you navigate, a guide and a partner through this process. And that doesn't necessarily mean we're taking the place of someone's partner, their husband, their girlfriend, whoever, as a non-gestational parent. It just means the difference between me and them is just I've done it a million times. Not a million, but I've done it a lot of times. So, yeah, and I feel like it's very much a community effort. I think a doula that isn't, or anyone in birth work that doesn't have community, is in danger of repeating the same mistakes some of the systems that uphold a lot of the disparities do. There's harm there.
What's the difference between a doula and a midwife?
Midwives are more medically centered, so they do a lot of procedures. Doulas are completely separate. We don't touch medical procedures. Now, there are some doulas that are nurses, but when you are in the scope of work as a doula, you're actually working outside. If you step into that, you're stepping outside of that space. And that's something you'll need to really talk about with your client. And it also varies state by state. So when we talk about doulas, again, it really depends on their scope of work. When you are practicing as a doula, technically we should not be doing any medical procedures. That's even doing a Doppler to check the heart rate. We can tell you how to check yourself with your own Doppler. We can tell you how to even take your blood pressure, but we're technically not supposed to do that. Now that's, again, within the framework of things that are now, but prior to this, and even if we talk about going back to grandwives, who were the original obstetricians for our Black communities during slavery and even before that, really taught the medical system about obstetrics and gynecology and how to support folks in that space. So our scope was larger. And so when that system stepped in, it made a clear line between those folks and made it illegal to do any practicing medically if you weren't trained in the medical profession, although this information was taken and then given back to us. So again, causing that disparity and divide. So now when we see doulas and midwives, they are not one and the same, where before they were one and the same.